Welcome to the Gen Z Book Club. I'm your host, Dawson, and today we're reading this book here, Skip the Line. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be excellent. Let's get right into it. So this is someone that I heard on a podcast, and he is done very well for himself. He lives in New York, and he looks pretty cool. Not going to lie. I think he makes about, I don't want to get it wrong, makes a lot of money, okay? And has essentially built different businesses and now kind of has an email list. So I was actually initially interested in the book, and then when I saw, oh my gosh, this is the author, then I was like, I have to read this. So very excited for this book that we have for us today. So let's kind of pre-read this, as I always like to do. Let's read the back. Again, guys, you want to do this every single time you read a book. Help kind of build authority bias, right? Because we just jump right into reading it, just learn ideal calculus and just kind of go from there. We're not giving, we want to essentially not manipulate our own brains, but if we look here, okay, like active angel investor. In order to be an active angel investor, you need to have a lot of money lying around to be able to give hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to someone and be like, it's an angel investor, so you don't really expect it to come back. I mean, you could, but you're not like actively managing. How many of you have just given hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars away and just kind of like I bless you to someone? You got to have a lot of money in order to do that. So as we're reading the sides, this really helps build the authority bias against our own brains, right? All right, so now let's look at the table of contents. Always love to do this. Feel free to pause it, find your favorite chapter. I think in this one, we'll go through the introduction in chapter 1, just kind of giving you guys a preview, and we'll go from there. So I'll go ahead, and again, I like to do this, we kind of read it together. So I'll pause it, I'll read the introduction, and then we'll talk about it. And then we'll read the first chapter, pause, and we'll talk about it as well. So this is a good time to find this book yourself. I might have a link in the description. Feel free to get it from the library. That's where I found this one, as you can see. And if you want to support the channel, feel free to use the affiliate link in the comment section. Well, anyway, let's get into it, and I will see you guys then. Ooh, people, I've just finished the introduction, and that was emotionally exhausting, dare I say. That was a roller coaster. I didn't know this, but he was 4 blocks away from the Twin Towers when the planes hit on 9/11. And then immediately after, like, lost his job, and then he's gonna call someone on a payphone, which they still had, and like there was poop on the phone itself, and it's like crazy. Wow, that was I feel like I've just been punched in the face so many different times. And he basically clipped the most intense parts, like just failure moments of his life, and just put them in the introduction. So that was crazy. If you enjoy stories, this is probably going to be best for you. It's not written it's definitely written more as a story, whereas in other books it's more like list kind of format. So if you are if you know your personality type and your personality type ends in J, like ENFJ, INFJ, then maybe you won't like it as much because it's not like a list and this is that. So we'll see. But if you like stories, then this is best. It's, I think, a good blend between, if you like fiction, going to nonfiction. This is definitely entertaining. Not gonna lie. Well, honestly, the biggest thing is, like, I didn't know you could be so successful like this and be punched in the face so many times. By punch in the face, I just mean in life. He talks about how in 2008, he lost just about everything, how he would make a company, sell it, and then immediately start something else and then go broke again. Like, it's just, it said people started to refer to him as the guy that always went broke. Like, that would be his name. And it's interesting, he mentions the happiest point in his life was when he used to work at HBO, when he was making $42,000 a year, essentially nothing, and just kind of living life. So that's an interesting rule. But let's skip to chapter 1. Let's read that, and we'll kind of give our thoughts on that. So feel free to read chapter 1, and I will see you guys on the other side. All right, just finished chapter 1, and thought it was pretty good. Love his take on evolutionary psychology and the thought of our brain essentially optimizing for different neurotransmitters. I love this because I've heard this in other places. I've heard Dr. Jordan Peterson talk about dominance hierarchies in society and how there has never been a time where there have been more tribes, for instance. I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Think of even YouTube channels. Think of, someone being good at a Rubik's Cube, right? Never has there been a time in history where being good at a Rubik's Cube could make you the top of a new dominance hierarchy by you having millions of subscribers, and making tons of money from that. And then, in essence, also getting other perks in life, like having more money, allowing you to live in a better area, better mate selection, if you will. And yeah, I think he does a really good job at mentioning that in this first chapter. He also mentions like the hierarchy even at work. Like you talk about like the executive and the VPs, and then the managers, and then the junior analysts, and just kind of the dominance hierarchy we already have today. So something to think about. I also did skip ahead. Usually I don't do this, but I did find a chapter that caught my eye. It's called 10,000 Experiments, chapter 3. And I love it because he talks so much about how to essentially save yourself time. By him starting so many different things, he gave an example of a young lady who was wanting to sell clothes. And she's like, oh, I have this big vision. It would take her like 6 months to do it. She wants to get it like made in America and have all this, she's like, oh my gosh, I got to find someone that's going to do it. And he's like, why not just like find out if anyone wants it? Like run Facebook ads, don't even have the website up, and just figure out, are people even going to click on this ad? If I were to do all that work and then run Facebook ads, like would it even work then? And it's so pivotal. I wish I learned that sooner, just in my own life. I remember during COVID, I was running drop shipping stores. I spent all this time building. I had a store called Bidet Koala. So, in the toilet paper shortage of coronavirus, there's no toilet paper. So I made a store. I spent all this time finding the right product and like building the website. And then I went to test the actual idea, and no one wanted to buy a bidet. At least the type of bidet I was selling. I've heard other companies were wildly successful at that time. Anyway, the point being, there are easier ways to do experiments. So would highly recommend this book if you are more of a fiction reader and are trying to get into nonfiction. This is a great start from someone that is, I know he doesn't say his net worth, but multimillionaire for sure. And his thoughts on essentially business and how you can improve your life doing it. Well, anyway, my Gen Zers, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know other books I should review in the comment section below. Feel free to use the link. I don't even know if I'll have a link to support the channel in the comment section. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.